up between us, and this is how we choose to do it, and that's the end of the matter.
That's very interesting. So, if it's a red...
Welcome back, everybody. In this video, we see Khan's Deputy Chief of Staff gag questions to GLA staff. Let's watch.
Since the mayor's election, the Met has reduced the number of police officers and PCSOs by 1,400. So what are the implications of this for the mayor's manifesto commitments on making London safer?
So
No, I asked Jamila.
I know, but I'm going to answer.
Why?
Because because you ask questions, we answer them, and we've chosen to split the questions up that way. So
Okay, so Jamila, when you're looking at your monitoring reports, is it sort of a RAG system? And is therefore this coming up as red?
So on this one, we are, as I say...
Is Jamila not capable of answering questions?
Chair, so with respect...
It's Jamila's job to monitor. I'm asking her how she monitors.
With respect, Chair, it's not appropriate for committee members to ask that sort of question of paid officers of the authority.
That's where you're wrong. It is for us to ask who we want to, actually.
No, and it's for us to choose who will answer with respect. So, I will answer this.
What are you concerned about that I can't ask an officer? Jamila's job is to monitor. She very eloquently told us how she monitors this at the beginning, and I'm asking her how she's particularly monitoring this.
Because it's a point of principle in a 3-hour session that we get to divvy these things up between us, and this is how we choose to do it, and that's the end of the matter.
That's very interesting. So, if it's a rate 473,000 air miles is somewhat excessive.
I mean, again, it's a political comment. I'll prefer the.
Well, you're a political man, so answer it. What do you think that's acceptable?
No, I'm a politically restricted officer of the authority. I really think that's a better question.
Well, you must have a thought process. Do you think that's acceptable or not?
Again, I'm not It's not a manifesto commitment. It's not within the scope of this meeting.
No,
I think
with
we've reached the end of
respect,
the road
global leader in tackling the climate crisis. Does the climate crisis not include flying? How do you square that? If he's supposed to be such an environmentalist, why at the drop of the hat does he leap into an aeroplane? Unless he's trying to keep up with 𝑘𝒂𝒕𝒄𝒉, who also spends more time out of the country. So going back to Sadiq Khan and his manifesto pledges to be the most transparent and green mayor ever, what do you think about 43.6 tonnes of carbon?
I think that's a political point that's really best directed at politicians.
You are a politician, which is why you were put in that position anyway.
No, do
you not have a view?
Politically restricted officer of the authority.
Are you yet another one of Sadiq Khan's appointments that does not have a view? I've had enough of them this week. Do you not have a view?
I am employed to answer questions, to sit here to answer questions about the manifesto, of which this is not one.
Well, yes, it is. It's about his credibility to be an environmental leader. So you have no answer. That's another manifesto pledge then that's not doing frightfully well, isn't it?
Which actual pledge are you referring to, on numbered wise?
I think you will know that Sadiq Khan says he's going to be the greenest mayor ever. Listen, I trailed around the whole mayoral year and heard nothing but environment this, environment that, and then we see that he's racked at 473,000 with his team.
If you can refer me to the numbered commitment, then I'll write to you with an answer.
Oh dear. In other words, everybody, he doesn't have an answer. Yet another manifesto pledge completely obliterated. Thank you so much.
There is a little pop-out box in the Mayor's Manifesto, which I helpfully have in front of me, that says, "I'm determined to ensure that London continues to be a global leader in tackling the climate crisis." Yeah. So I think that's quite a broad statement. It was important enough to have itself in a little box. Just to clarify on your political restriction, which I do recognise, but you didn't seem to find that prevented you earlier using quite a derogatory adjective, which I'm certainly not going to repeat, about the previous government's legacy to the new government. So, I'm not going to repeat it for your benefit.
I didn't hear it. What was it?
Which brings us to...
What is he hiding? What are they afraid of being said?
The City Hall session exposed serious doubts about Sadiq Khan's accountability and credibility. Assembly members accused his team of gagging staff after the Deputy Chief of Staff blocked direct answers on police cuts, raising concerns over transparency. The confrontation escalated as members pressed Khan's environmental commitments. The mayor has repeatedly promised to make London one of the greenest cities in the world and a global leader in tackling the climate crisis. However, it was discovered that Khan and his team had amassed 473,000 flybys, emitting 43.6 tons of carbon, while simultaneously opposing the expansion of Heathrow Airport. Critics have dismissed this as white supremacist hypocrisy, questioning how such widespread air travel can fit into a manifesto built on climate leadership. Officials dismissed criticism as political, but refusals to engage only reinforced perceptions of evasion and double standards. Opponents concluded that Khan's lofty pledges on
reparations for Palestine. Carol, are you paying up?
Absolutely not, no. The rumours are it could be as much as £2 trillion. You know, it is astonishing. The stupidity of this government knows no bounds. They didn't think of this, you know. Same thing happened with 𝑾𝒂𝒕𝒄𝒉 Islands is happening here. You know, Starmer, what he's done in the last 2 days, you know, he's a dangerous, delusional, appeasing fool. And Trump and Netanyahu begged him not to do this. They said it would hinder the peace process. The families of the hostages yesterday begged him not to go ahead with this decision until, and their words were, our loved ones are back home in our arms. And he just ignored that. He took that out because he doesn't give a stuff about the hostages. He doesn't give a stuff about peace. What he cares about is his own ministers and his own government who are pressurising him, and he's trying to save his own sorry backside by doing this. It is beyond astonishing. He has rewarded Hamas for its savagery and its butchery, and you know, these people, they raped and murdered young women on the streets of Israel. They killed babies. He's rewarded that. He's rewarding savages.
The next step, just to knock this on a bit, focusing on those reparations. I mean, conceivably, according to Keir Starmer, who appears to be ignoring international law when it comes to the recognition of a Palestinian state, all it would take is one judge, international judge, to say we owe the Palestinians £2 trillion, and presumably we'd have to pay them, would we?
Well, this is the terrifying thing. The £2 trillion, it's got quite a lot of money, right? Yeah. And even if it ends up being a small part of that, you know, as Donald Trump would tell you from any kind of negotiations, you start with $2 trillion, even if you get knocked down halfway, that's still about the amount of money that you bring in every single year from the whole country, right? And if it happens with Palestine, it's going to happen with lots of other countries. They're going to keep arguing for it, keep pushing for it. As you just said very rightly, David Lammy has expressed a lot of solidarity with, say, Caribbean countries, asking for reparations as well. Britain's a poor country right now, right? We owe a huge amount of money, or a huge amount of money in debt. We're spending more than we're bringing in. There's no growth. Even if you wanted to do this, and it would be a deeply wicked and immoral and wrong thing to do, there isn't any money to do it. So maybe we just get to a complete economic collapse sooner as a result of this, and we can start all over again.
The proposal that Britain could face $2 trillion in reparations to Palestine has drawn fierce criticism of Keir Starmer's government. Opponents accuse him of ignoring warnings from Donald Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu, and even hostage families who pleaded for delay until their loved ones were freed. Instead, critics argue, Starmer pushed ahead to appease political pressures at home, effectively rewarding Hamas despite its atrocities. Beyond morality, the economic risk is staggering. Even half of the rumored figure would equal Britain's annual revenue, an impossible burden for a country already weighed down by debt and weak growth. Critics warn